What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Classic WoW video for Season of Discovery. Now Phase 2 is right around the corner, coming out on February 8th, which is just a few weeks away, and with that being said, people are kind of considering and wondering what runes can we get in Phase 2, and which ones makes sense for Phase 2. I've seen people throwing around things like Bladestorm, Titan's Grip, I've seen Ferals wanting more DPS, I've seen Hunters wanting more pet DPS, I've seen a bunch of suggestions. That being said, Wowhead has compiled a list based on what the community is asking for, and today I thought we would watch that list and take a look at exactly what runes people are asking for Phase 2, and as we go through this, I would love to hear your thoughts on everything in the comments down below. Either way, here we go. The runes wish list for Season of Discovery Phase 2. The Season of Discoveries Phase 2 is just around the corner, so we decided to create a wish list of runes and potential abilities that we and the community would like to see introduced. Some of the list entries would fill gaps in classic class design, while others would add tons of class fantasy and flavor. We have tried to include ideas for every specialization of every single class, or just generally awesome class ability designs that have been introduced over the last 2 decades of World of Warcraft. If you don't agree with these runes, what runes would you have on your wishlist for Phase 2 of Season of Discovery? Starting off with the best class in the game and the top DPS, especially Boomkins, Druid. First of all, Eclipse, and even without reading anything else, I agree, please give us Eclipse. Introduced with Wrath of the Lich King Classic or Wrath of the Lich King, this ability single-handedly turned balanced druids into a viable DPS specialization. In Phase 2, the interaction with the newly introduced Star Surge rune would certainly cause a ton of new exciting rotational opportunities in the realm of Moonkins. I 100% agree, by the way. If they want to make Moonkins at all competitive in DPS, this one has to be there. For Druids, okay, Berserk, Feral Druids are already pretty good, man, but I'm not gonna complain. Being a Feral myself, I would not complain. This Feral Druid cooldown also made its first appearance during Wrath, and has been redesigned numerous times over the last 15 years, from reducing energy cost to restoring combo points. No matter what iteration of Berserk is introduced, it would certainly enhance the current gameplay loop for Ferals. Oh yeah, let's actually hover over the abilities and see what they do. So for example, Eclipse, when you critically hit with Starfire, you have a 33% chance of increasing damage done by Wrath by 40%, and when you critically hit with Wrath, you have a 20% chance of increasing your critical strike with Starfire by 40%. Each effect lasts for 15 seconds, and each has a separate 30-second cooldown. For Berserk, when activated, this ability causes your Mangle ability to hit up to 3 targets and have no cooldown, and reduces the energy cost of all your catform abilities by 15%, lasts for 15 seconds, and you cannot use Tiger's Fury while Berserk is active. For Resto, we have the Tree of Life, shapeshift into the Tree of Life, increasing healing done by 15%, increasing armor by 120%, and granting protection from polymorph effects, functionality of rejuvenation, wild growth, regrowth, entangling runes, and wrath is enhanced, lasts for 30 seconds. The answer to the question, what is the single most iconic Resto Druid spell in World of Warcraft, should sooner or later find its way in the Season of Discovery, and personally, I agree, absolutely. The current Dragonflight design as a major healing cooldown alone would make a massive difference for Druid healers in classic content. Absolutely. So for Hunters, let's see, have they fulfilled the melee hunter fantasy here? They have something called Coordinated Assault. Let me see that one. You and your pet charge your enemy, striking them for a combined X amount of damage, physical damage, and you and your pet's bond is then strengthened for 20 seconds, causing your pet's basic attack to empower your next spell attack. Oh, okay. Wildfire Bomb increases. Okay, so those are like retail abilities, but it could function the same way. Melee Hunters in Season of Discovery lack both damage and rotational tools, absolutely. It's based on like the proc of Flanking Strike, then using Raptor Strike and just proccing, right? It's really RNG and really weird. With an interactive cooldown like Coordinated Assault, the survival fantasy might finally come to life. Obviously, the development team would need to change the spells that benefit from Coordinated Assault. That being said, they already have showcased their ability to do exactly that by introducing their version of Flanking Strike. Then we have Lock and Load with both explosive shot. Actually, let me read. Your ranged auto attacks have a 8% chance to trigger Lock and Load, causing your next aimed shot to cost no focus and to be instant. If they want marksmanship to be competitive against Beast Mastery, this one has to be there. With both explosive and chimera shot, marksman hunters are already well equipped for phase 2. A passive talent like Lock and Load would encourage and an active playstyle combined with effective resource management. Obviously, hunters do not have focus but mana in Classic WoW, so the proc rewarding a flat or overtime mana regen would make a lot of sense. Indeed, actually, not least because mana cost will become a marksman hunter issue, especially in longer fights. Then we have Aspect of the Beast, increases the damage and healing of your pet's abilities by 30%. I strongly don't think they will ever put this into Classic WoW, because hunter pets are already too good, but either way, there it is. And then we have increases the effectiveness of your pet's predator thirst, endurance training, and path finding abilities by passives by 50%. Not happening, mate, but either way, aspects are one of the cores of the hunter class fantasy in Classic WoW, so why not add another one to the list? Not that Beastmaster hunters would need any additional damage utilities right now. A permanent buff like the aspect of the beast would increase the overall damage potential of hunter pets and the tankiness due to the increased effects from pet passives. Maybe we will not only get blasted by wind serpents in PvP, but also see them become raid tanks in the near future, who knows? I know, and it's not happening. Then we have the Mage, and without even reading this, just looking at the abilities, this is exactly what I was suggesting myself for Mage in phase 2, Arcane Barrage, because Arcane Missiles take a lot of mana, and you have to channel them, so you have to stand still for like, what, 5 seconds, and channel those missiles. Arcane Barrage will be way better. So what Arcane Barrage does, do I even say that correctly? I have no idea. Launches several missiles at the enemy target, causing X amount of damage, but it's instant, no channel, just instant, and then causing arcane damage, of course. So as an arcane mage healer, you have an instant ability that also procs or like benefits from the stacks you get from using Arcane Blast. So the gameplay would then be to you get 3 to 4 stacks of Arcane Blast and then Arcane Barrage, and then just keep that rolling, right? It's safe to say that the introduction of heal mages have been a successful one overall. As one of the staple spells in the future Arcane Mage toolkit, Arcane Barrage could fill the spot healing hole for mage healers while also providing a decent movement tool for Arcane Mages in general. Absolutely. Every time I have to move as a mage healer, it sucks so much because I can do nothing. I have to channel my heals, I have to cast like Arcane Blast to heal as well, and then Missiles is also channeled. Every single thing I do is channeled or has a 2.5 second cast. So for example, when I'm being chased by the fiery ball on Lorgus Jet, it sucks so hard. I can't do anything. I'm basically rendered useless. Then we have Summon Water Elemental for Frost. In June last year, mages in retail had to say goodbye to their Water Elementals? Really? So why not bring them back in Season of Discovery? Absolutely. Introduced during Burning Crusade back in the day, even a temporary version of Water Elementals could bring more versatility to the Frost Mage toolkit, which has already gotten a few rune upgrades in phase 1. I agree, this would be absolutely great in phase 2. Then Dragon's Breath, holy, alright. Fire Mages are the reigning champions of all DPS mage specs right now, and they surely will remain strong across all content. Introducing a situational yet incredibly useful spell like Dragon's Breath would enhance fire gameplay as a whole, and offer a healthy alternative to the ever-beloved Cone of Cold. Yeah, I'm all for it, man. As a mage myself, I'm all for it. Then we have Paladin. Aura Mastery empowers your chosen aura for 8 seconds. Similar to Hunter aspects, Paladins are famous for their auras in Classic. A ton of design space has been filled out with the aura enhancing talents across all 3 Paladin trees, so why not introduce a way to enhance further, or even completely change an aura of your choice. Then we have Avenging Wrath, increases all damage and healing cost by 20% for 20 seconds. This one, not a lot of classes have such an iconic spell like Avenging Wrath in their toolkit. At this point in history, these wings showcase one of the most essential cooldowns across all 3 Paladins archetype. which would make it an excellent addition as a rune in phase 2. Then we have Divine Steed, leap atop your charger for 3 seconds, increasing movement speed by 100%. Ooh, okay. As the last of 3 wishlist entries, which would benefit all 3 paladin archetypes, Divine Steed would at least partially fill the gaping movement hole in their toolkit, and look, paladin as a hell in a classic setting. Yeah, true, actually. One thing I will say though is I'm hoping we get 1 rune for every single spec in this case, instead of having 3 separate things that all work for every single spec. I want to see Hammer of the Righteous, man. The AoE paladin tank ability, right? Hammer of the Righteous. I want to see that. That one is amazing. And then, I don't know what Holy Paladins should be able to get their Flash of Light, or like their AoE healing. I think it's called Holy Radiance, or like some sort of, it's a Flash of Light and a cone, like Cone of Light in front of them. That way Holy Paladins can become melee healers by using seals on the boss, and then healing melees in an AoE heal while being in melee as an instant cast with a 10-second cooldown. We had that one in Cataclysm, I think, and even in retail, and it just works so great having that AoE heal for paladins instead of paladins being the way they are right now. So yeah, AoE heal as a paladin, like a beacon of light ahead of you, like in front of you, or like, how do I say it? A wave of light in an AoE cone in front of you, like 10 yards in front basically. That's what I would love to see. Then we have Priest. Mind Spike, just like Balanced Druid, this one, blast the target for X amount of Shadow Frost damage, alright. Just like Balanced Druid, Shadow Priests have a lot of the usual hybrid DPS issues in Classic WoW, so introducing a straightforward way to deal decent direct damage would at least solve one of the many shadow issues. Another central shadow issue is the mana, so baking some mana regen into Mind Spike would kill 2 shadowy birds with 1 stone. Then we have Rapture. Ooh, okay. When your powered shield is completely absorbed or dispelled, you are instantly energized with 1.5% of your total mana, and you have a 33% chance to energize your shielded target with 2% total mana, 8 rage, 16 energy, or 32 runic power. This one is massive for Disc Priest. As one of the most unique spells in the Discipline toolkit, Rapture would add great utility to the Priest and his allies in Season of Discovery. There are a metric ton of amazing cooldowns in Priest history, but a passive effect that promotes dynamic powered shield gameplay, which rewards both the player and their allies, sound like something Priest in Classic WoW would want, and I 100% agree. Then we have the Light Weaver, which flash heal reduces the cast time of your next heal within 20 seconds by 30% and increases its healing done by 15%, stacks up to 2 times. As one of the newer priest abilities on our list, this Dragonflight Holy Priest talent reads incredibly straightforward, but also very efficient, rewarding the use of 2 staple heals or heal spells in the Holy Priest toolkit. Alright, what about Rogues? This one I'm kind of interested in. Roll the Bones? Yeah. I'm gonna be that one guy who's like, please don't put this in. I'm gonna be that guy. Because when they put this in, which I think was in BFA, or at the end, like the pre-patch for BFA, I think that was it, or the Legion or BFA. One of those two, I don't know which one it was. Either way, I was not a big fan. This finisher, which has been added to the Rogue toolkit during Legion, there we go, embraces the gambling rogue fantasy. I mean, it does, but at the same time it's RNG. I don't think Classic WoW players would like that RNG system. I personally hated it, man, the RNG, because sometimes you would roll the bones, get like massive DPS increase, and sometimes you would roll the bones, get the worst roll, and then get no DPS increase. Some of the 6 buffs it provides may be too situational in a Classic WoW setting, but what if the development team decided to introduce some new, more generic buff that all rogue archetypes could profit from? I don't know, man. Fan of knives though, I'm absolutely a big fan of this one, giving rogues some AoE, because what they're missing right now is in fact AoE. Fan of knives, instantly throw both weapons at all targets within 8 yards, causing 105% weapon damage with daggers and 70% weapon damage with every single other weapon. As one of many fantastically designed abilities introduced with Wrath of the Lich King, Fan of Knives showcase a brilliant solution to the issue of rogues not being able to deal proper AoE damage before. Now, Fan of Knives with the Deadly Poison rune could be absolutely incredible, by the way. I just want to put that out there. and then make a combo point shit. Yes, oh my days, dude. Make combo points shared across all enemies. We wanted to keep this wish list free of completely new rune ideas. That being said, this groundbreaking change which was introduced with the Warlord of Draenor expansion, as reported by Wowhead over 7 freaking years ago. Okay, it's a fan favorite. Being able to store combo points across all targets would be more than just a quality of life change for classic rogues of all archetypes, and the newly introduced rogue tanks in particular would squeal in excitement. Please make this happen. I'm just a rogue alt, like it's my alt number 5, but please make that happen. Especially like when you have the target swap as well in raids, it promotes such generic gameplay right now, because let's just put it this way, on Lorgus Jet he spawns totems. If I want to help my team kill the totems, I sacrifice my combo points on the boss to do like one attack on the totem. So what you want to do if you're parsing, which a lot of people are, you just ignore the totem and let other people do the job, so you keep your combo points, which to me that's just shit gameplay. You're being rewarded for not helping your team, and you're basically choosing not to help your team to parse, which is just weird. Alright, then we have Shaman. I see two-handed. I see, the first thing I see is two-handed only, Sundering. Shatters a line in front of you with your main hand weapon, causing X amount of flame strike damage and incapacitating any enemy hit for 2 seconds. That's basically exactly what I wanted for two-handed shamans, man. I was hoping for like like you have 2 hammers or 1 big hammer, and then an ability where you splinter those 2 hammers and throw them on the ground as an AoE ability, which is literally what this is. You throw your weapon on the ground and you sunder the ground. That's perfect. Two-handed only. The two-handed enhancement Shaman Fantasy is a community favorite, but it is in great peril. That being said, they have strongly hinted towards the two-handed rune coming in phase 2, by the way. I just want to put that out there. Adding exclusive spells only castable with two-handed weapons is very restrictive, but also offers a solution. This version of Sundering, a talent introduced back during Legion, would be a flavorful and visceral spell that perfectly showcases the fantasy of a two-handed wielding master of the elements. Summon Earth Elemental. Shaman tanking has been a successful experiment in Season of Discovery so far. A decent defensive cooldown that also comes with a beefy Earth Elemental would make for an excellent addition to the classic Shaman toolkit. Then we have Totemic Recall, this one right here. Returns your totems to the earth, giving you mana back for the totems destroyed by the recall. Totem utility wasn't really a part of the design space in Classic. That is why spells like Totemic Recall have been added and treated as no-brainers later on. As totems are a vital part of the Classic Shaman gameplay experience, adding this spell would just make an incredible amount of sense, and even though I don't play a Shaman myself, I 100% agree. Big thumbs up. Next up then, the class I'm personally maining, and I'm happy to say, just based on what I'm seeing here, my suggestion is on this list, Havoc. We'll get to that in a second, but let's start off with Hand of Gul'dan. Calls down a demonic meteor full of wild imps, which burst forth to attack the target, deals damage to the enemy's hit, and also summons imps. The demonology fantasy has evolved quite a bit over the last few years in retail, especially when it comes to temporary minions. A Hand of Gul'dan that would temporarily summon 3 regular imps would certainly make a flavorful and engaging damage cooldown, which could also benefit or profit from classic Warlock talents like improved Firebolt. Oh, absolutely. And imagine that in PvP, that's gonna be so fun. Then we have Havoc. This one right here marks a target with Havoc for 12 seconds, causing your single target spells to also strike the Havoc victim for 60% of the damage dealt. With Chaos Bolt being present in Season of Discovery, Havoc would certainly be a great situational pick in all sorts of content. Hardcasting, non-periodic Warlock spell damage spells has always felt clunky and one-dimensional in Classic, so this ability, which was introduced with Cataclysm, would tackle that issue. This one would be very situational, but in PvP for example, if you have 2 healers on the enemy team, you can Chaos Bolt both of them, at the same time. And in Cataclysm, this works with fear as well. So instead of just fearing one ability, you'll be fearing, instead of just fearing one person, you'll be fearing 2 people, and then you can Chaos Bolt them as well, and then you can Shadow Burn them. So in PvP, this one is absolutely incredibly strong, and in PvE, it's very situational. You would have to have a cleave fight, and then if you have a cleave fight, then you can actually Chaos Bolt both enemies at the same time. Very good ability, and I hope it gets put in, and I hope there are some cleave fights in PvE where this one just makes us top DPS, big DPS. Then we have Burning Rush, without a doubt. Warlock in Classic lack proper movement options. We thought about adding Demonic Circle to our list, but Burning Rush as a soft movement option instead of a hard teleport seems more fitting, especially thinking about all the new Warlock tanks currently breaking their demonic ankles while running after mobs they're trying to aggro. Now, being a little bit egoistic here, I would love to see Demonic Circle, but I also agree we should get Burning Rush, because to me, Demonic Circle is what I'm personally hoping for, and I love this ability, but I also feel like Burning Rush is more Classic-like. Having the circle and teleporting around doesn't feel that much like Classic, compared to Burning Rush. So for me, I would much rather actually want to see Burning Rush in Season of Discovery, even though, I don't know, for me I don't care, but on a general level I think Burning Rush is the best one to put in for the majority of the people. Then we have Warrior, saving the best for last. Actually, we're just going through this numerically or alphabetically, but yeah, we have the Warrior, so here we go. Bladestorm, as I said earlier in the video, Bladestorm is still being thrown around. Become an unstoppable storm of destructive force, striking all nearby enemies for X amount of physical damage over 6 seconds, and deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. Hard crowd controlling Classic is omnipresent, and warriors are prime targets, they certainly are. Adding Warbringer certainly helped, and Bladestorm would be another step in the right direction. Not to mention that it's one of the coolest warrior spells in World of Warcraft. I agree. The only question is, will we see this in Phase 2 or Phase 3? Because Bladestorm at level 40 sounds a little bit insane to me, but hey, if we do see it, I'm not gonna complain. Then we have Gladiator Stance. This one we kind of have already, they've kind of hinted towards this coming in Phase 2 already, through like kind of leaks. Either way, back when Warlords of Draenor released, Protection Warriors had a window of 6 weeks where they had a lot of fun in PvE and absolutely dominated PvP, thanks to Gladiator Stance. So what does this do? Actually, we can't even see. Shortly after, the ability got nerfed into the ground and removed with the release of Legion. Just 9 years later, Gladiator Stance appeared in the Season of Discovery game files. Yeah, that's where it's from, it's already in the game files. So there is hope that the stance which increased all physical damage done and replaced shield block with shield charge might return. Lastly, we have Shockwave, which to me, that one sounds really overpowered, especially in PvP scenarios. Either way, it's a hard AoE crowd control. Hard AoE crowd control is a hot flame to play with in the classic rule set. It absolutely is, but Shockwave is just too great of an ability for all warrior archetypes to not put this on the list, since it would be a great way to interrupt targets in addition to the super conditional pummel. It would be, but would it not be too overpowered? I think Shockwave, especially in PvP, would just be too strong. Maybe that's just me though, especially because it's not even capped, is it? Yeah, sends a wave of force in a frontal cone, causing X amount of damage and stunning all enemies within 10 yards for 2 seconds. It literally stuns every single one. To me, that sounds a little bit overpowered. Either way, that is Wowhead's list based on what they want and what they have seen the community been asking for. If you have any other suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. I think it is very fun to see what people want for Phase 2, and also just to speculate on what's coming in Phase 2 as well. So if you have any suggestions, please once again let me know in the comments down below. Wowhead was doing 3 per class, like 1 per spec. So if you're playing several classes, just let me know several suggestions. I have a couple of them myself, which I might put into some comments, or a pinned comment as well. Either way, that's the video for today. A bit of a long one, but it was really fun. At least I think it was really fun to see what they had in mind, and even though I was personally, I think I had many of the same ones on my list, but there were some different ones that I like to see. I just like to see different people's point of view on what they want to see in Phase 2. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.